Second Nature for Children is in the house. Coach, how you doing?
As always, man, great, 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 great. How about yourself?
I'm doing absolutely great, Coach. So if the family come in, make sure you subscribe, share, like this content. Let's move it through the algorithm because it should have more views. But if we don't move it, it won't get it because YouTube is not trying to uplift blacks. So we have to move it as a people. And so make sure that you go and check out our organization where we work with the youth and help sponsor and help us with our children. Let's do something to make a difference. Let's become doers. Let's act out in a positive way to get something done. Coach, I want to talk to you. And always, a lot of times, I'm dealing with conversations that I've had with people during the course of the week. And it may just make me think about something that I've had discussions with people throughout time. But I definitely want to talk about, do blacks confuse religion and spiritual? Do they get those two confused? Because from conversations that I'm having, I'm seeing and I'm hearing that we get those confused. What you think about that?
I think so. I've always said, and I believe I haven't come across anything to make me change, but I believe religion really supposed to take you to spirituality, you know. But I think a lot of people, well, most people, to me, regardless of which religion you practice, I think they get stuck on the worshiping, whether it's Sundays, whether it's Wednesdays, whatever day they get stuck on that. And that's it. To me, that's just on the surface. You know, as you dive in, it's supposed to take you to spirituality where you see people, you see life for what it truly is, you know, all that principles, you treat people the way you want to be treated, all that, evolving, all of that supposed to be a part of your life, encompass your life and make you a better person. That way, that light within you shine and gravitate to people around you, and life in itself gets better. But if we got all these mega churches and all that, and all these people worshiping, the society look like it's going downhill, then hey, man. So, but yeah, I feel most people get stuck on the surface, just the worshiping and that's it.
Okay. I
You
definitely want
know,
to look at it and give us a reference as we dive into it and kind of pull it apart. So I always like to go and define a couple of words. So and I find out a lot of times when people look at some of the topics and they may send me a comment, I can tell they really didn't listen to the video. They just responded off the topic. And then another thing we have to remember too, that listening is an art. Just because you hear me, it doesn't mean that you was listening to me. So I wish that as we come in as a family, that we really listen to the content before we really comment or make any remarks. And that's why I like to bring us a reference so we can try to get on the same page. So let's look at confused, to throw into disorder, to mix up, to be bewildered of perplexed about, uh, unable to tell apart, mistake one thing for another. Now let's do religion. Religion, a belief in and worship of God or gods with a small g, a particular system of faith and worship. Now let's do spiritual. Of or having to do with the spirit, and the spirit is the immaterial part of man or woman that dwells deep down within a person. So I want to take those three. I want to take confused, I want to take religion, and I want to take spiritual. And I want to dive into this conversation because, and my experience, I want to talk about my experience with us as a people. We are more religion than spiritual, from my
so
experience.
I agree.
Just because you go to church and you are part of a religion, that doesn't mean that you are spiritual. Here's the confusing part that through conversation that I've had with people, because people that just go to church, they think that they are spiritual. And I've been trying to explain to them that no, you are not spiritual. You are just a religious person. And it's just like just doing something. Uh, like a lot of people say, well, coach, you're religious to working out. Yeah. I'm just a part of something that I love to do on a consistent base. Doesn't mean that from the religion aspects that I'm spiritual just because I'm religious about something. And what has happened, a lot of us are just a religious people, but we are not spiritual. Because religion is a specific set of organized beliefs and practices. That's all it is. Custom, formality. And it's usually shared by a community or a group. Doesn't mean you're spiritual. Because being spiritual, here's the connection. Being spiritual is personal, it's flexible, and it's centered on your inner growth. That's what we got it confused about. We think because we are either a religious person or part of a religion that we are spiritual. And just because you are part of a religion or you are a religious person, it doesn't mean that you are working on that spiritual inner growth. We got to work on that. And coach, it's one of the reasons that as a people, and especially as the church, and I want to talk about, because we've been talking about the King James, so I want to talk about the Black Baptist Church. I want to talk about where I come from. We get nothing done from that church as a people that will advance and move us forward because we are caught up in religion instead of spirituality. Where religion has an answer to things that we are going through. Stay right there. Religion, it has an answer to things that we are going through. Let Jesus handle it. God will work it out. See how religion, it takes the responsibility of you and puts it on something else. Think about that for a second. But being spiritual, it puts that responsibility on you to be connected to that which dwells within you. See, religion don't do that. If you take a religion seriously to join that group and then work on connecting spiritually, then that's one thing. But if you are just a religious person, you are missing the whole thing about it. Because if you are not spiritually, then you're not connected to that which dwells within you. That's why, as a people, we're not getting anything done because we have just joined a group or a community, but we are not spiritually connected to nothing that's going to take the principle to get anything done. I want the family to get that for a second.
But I'm not surprised because if a so-called leader really push spirituality, it does not benefit him or her because that person gets wiser. That person evolve, or those people, let's say those people, the congregation evolve until one day they're like, wait a minute, we really don't need you. We really don't need you. You know, you took us as far as we can go. We got it from here. We really don't need you. So it's not beneficial for that leader. So I can understand why that's not pushed. You know, that's the way I see that.
And that's the way that go. And that's what religious has done to a lot of us, because it has us not only waiting on Jesus, depending on God, but worshiping a man or woman
A
who's
woman,
standing
yep.
in front of us. So I
Yep.
definitely concur with you right there. And even Jesus rebukes the religious leaders. And you can go to Matthew 23, 1 through 39, read about it. Jeremiah 3, 14 through 15, read about it. First Peter 5, 2 through 4, and read about it. Jesus even rebuked the religious leader. You can go read about it on your own time. And see, a religious person, they does good works in order to impress God and impress others. In other words, if you help somebody, then God, you know I'm waiting on you to hook me up now. You see, I just gave this person, I just did this, I just did that. Let me put on a facade in front of people to make them think, I want to impress others. But a true Christian, I want to talk about a true Christian. That's that Christian who has joined a religion, but is working to be spiritual. A lot of us have joined a religion, but we're not working to be spiritual. Because a true Christian, they does the good work to reveal God to the lost. That's a true Christian. It's not about that person. It's about them doing something to give God the reverence. Being spiritual, coach, is more of a individual practice and making that connection with that which dwells within you. And it has to be with having a good sense of peace and purpose. It'll give you that when you truly connect. It'll give you, once again, so you'll know if you headed that way. It'll give you a good sense of having peace and a purpose. And I want to just ask the family right
And you don't need a bunch of folks around you because you good with you. You know what I mean? You
now.
good with you. You would like folks to be around you, but it's hard because they're not seeing what you're saying. They can't get it. So you prefer them to be away until they get where you are. Then you can roll with that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, and by
So
you saying that, even the Bible tells you that the gate is narrow for the ones who's gonna get it. If you are hanging around a large group of people, then you already know you in trouble, because most of us don't get it. So what I've learned throughout my life is, in order for me to elevate in life, I have to isolate.
yep, yep,
You gotta isolate. And
yep.
and, and yeah, you gotta isolate. And I think a lot of times we don't understand how to take that time and spend that time with just us. We always think we got to have somebody else around.
But I know folks for sure. I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling to me. But I know people just can't stand being by themselves. I'm like, man, just imagine you cannot stand being by yourself, but you want somebody to be able to chill with you, and you can't stand yourself. Just imagine that. You know what I mean? You got to come to grips with what's going on with you or what's not going on. Come on, man. But yeah,
And by you saying that again, here we go. That's one of the reasons we are addicted to entertainment, gossip, because
passing the time. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
pass the
yeah.
time. So
Time, yeah.
yeah, so psychologically, we don't have to deal with ourselves. And that's
Yep.
one of the and that's one of the biggest problems, that we are not dealing with ourselves. Because when I tell you this right here, family, you need to be taking 3 to 4 days out the week. Take an hour each day. Start some cardio up. Start some weight training up. Start learning how to clean your diet up. There's my information if you need my help. No one has reached out for help yet, so I guess everyone is doing well. But I'm telling you,
Mm.
3 days out the week, this is you taking care of you. Now you're connecting to yourself spiritually. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you are not connected spiritually, because that that dwells within you, it won't let you self-destruct. So you need to take at least 3 days out the week to start if you haven't started. Take that hour, get somewhere and start walking, start some weight training, and start cleaning your diet up. Please, that's for your body. For your mind, this is going to be one of the hardest things for you. You may have to just admit or accept something mentally is wrong because we deal with a lot of psychological issues. I know you don't want to admit it, but what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to sit back and just look back. Just take it 3 years back. Let's just take it 5 years back and look at your decision making. Look at where you was 5 years ago to the day. You just sit down by yourself and take a look at that. You just take a look at that. And then on the spiritual, I want you to look at when you look back over those 5 years, when you were saying you was going to do this, or you were saying you was going to do that, or if you haven't said you were going to do anything, have you really tapped into yourself spiritually so that your discipline, your self-control, that self-love, that tenacity, because that comes from within you. I heard the other night, and I was doing my homework because I went out on Facebook to listen to people who was addressing the Black community. And coach, all I heard was gossip. And what I mean by that is they were just talking about us, but no one was giving solutions. We know there's problems. And then we know when you're talking about us behaving and acting a certain way, I have all of these videos out where I'm working to describe why. Because a lot of it's from our past, a lot of it stems from psychological issues. But I'm noticing that these people are getting views and getting this and getting that, but they never have the people to bear a responsibility that you can make a difference if you do something, if you act on something. I never hear that. I never hear accountability. Or
yeah, but it's
go ahead on.
I'm going to say if they do that, then they push the people away. If you're gonna hold people accountable, you can push them away, right? So they rather not do that. You know, that'll keep the numbers where it is, or get it higher. But if they hold people accountable, folks didn't want to hear that. We just talk about people can't handle being by themselves. So you think they're gonna take that constructive criticism, or someone telling them, "Look, man, this is a choice you make, so you got to tighten up, you got to fix it." Folks don't want to hear that. But you can't run from yourself at the end of the day. So some way, shape, or form, man, you have to deal with it either now or later. Rather now than later. That's all I can tell you. So
and it's so sad that a lie can run so fast through the community, but the truth moves so slow. That is so sad to see and to hear. And like I say, to see us come on and talk about us, and then to see comments about people talking about us. But then where's the solution? Don't you know that you can play a part? And especially when I talk about the children, we can start working with our children since we know that there are so many issues. Then we should go back to our children and try our best to make sure that they don't continue to run into the same issues that we are facing or dealing with right now. It's sad. And you are, like I say, you ought to see the view. They get out the views. And then here we are. I'm guaranteeing you that the information that we are putting out can change people's lives. But they don't, but it comes for them being accountable or responsible. And then it shows you once again, we won't even come together and we won't even help each other. If I was running a scam, I guarantee you my numbers would be up. We easy to fool. And what people got to understand this right here, when it comes to YouTube, listen, family, you can look at my views. I had a guy say, well, I saw on one video you had 1,600, and then it came back and you had like 60. Listen, all I could do is tell the truth. Whether they come back or not to get the truth, that's not on me, that's on them. And what you got to understand, if I just want to strictly make money off of us and YouTube, Hell, all I got to do is do a sports channel, entertainment channel, music channel, gossip channel. I just leave it at those four. If I really just wanted to come in and make money off the Black community, all I have to do is start a channel up, change my name to something else because I wouldn't want it tied to my organization, and just come out and put mess out. I got you. I got all the views. But when I come out and put something real, look how low the views stay. People don't want to hear it. Yeah, they don't want to hear it. And I call out the religious people because I'm trying to let them know that here it is, you are part of a religion and you're not doing nothing. So it lets me know you just can join onto a practice, something that's custom and something that's formality, but you're not spiritual at all. Because if you were spiritual, and I'm talking to everybody right now, I'm calling everybody out because we got to check ourselves. You can't tell me that you are spiritual. You can tell me you're part of a religion. I got you. You ain't got to do nothing unless you move to the next phase in your spirituality. Just being part of a religion don't mean nothing. There's work to be done. There's principles in there that you are not living. But you can't tell me that you are spiritual and you're not doing nothing to make a difference, to give or to serve. Then you fooling yourself. That's why I say I think we got this thing confused. You are confused if you think that you are spiritual and you're not doing nothing. First of all, to get yourself together. I just told you how to do that. If you need my help, there's my email address. The first thing you have to do, we've lost it on a foundation. Most of us don't have a foundation of life. We've heard the mind, the body, the soul for so many years, but we really don't know how to connect the three together for success. You could be doing well in life here. You still could be overweight or obese. That means there's a disconnect somewhere. There's a disconnect somewhere. Just because you prospered in one area, in order for you to be successful at a lot of things, it comes with a combination of things that you have to put together. That if I see you coming to the gym and you working out, and I see you on a consistent base, but either you stay in the same size because you're overweight or obese, or you getting bigger, that let me know you haven't learned how to balance it out yet. And you may be thinking that you got it together in your head, but you don't have it together. And like I say, you can have all the degrees. You could be coming to the gym and you could be fit. You can look good. But what about them mental issues you're dealing with? What about them decisions you're making that's not good? Yeah, you can look good physically, but you still could be making bad decisions. You still can have a struggle in another area where your self-discipline is just not working in other areas that you need to work on. We're always under construction. We should always be working on ourselves. Don't none of us have it all together. None of us. It's constant work that we should be doing. And so I'm calling my church folks out, and I'm calling my folks out who don't even go to church. Especially because this is what I hear now. Oh, I'm not religious, but I believe in my God, my this, my that. Okay, wait a minute. Your God ain't got you doing nothing? Because I don't know if you're doing anything, especially when it comes to our children. Are you giving a serving? If you're giving a serving, excellent, great job. See, can you keep making a difference? Just because I don't see it, don't mean you're not doing it. I'm just in a certain spot. I'm just in a certain area. So if you're doing some great work, there's my comment section. There's my email. Share it with me. Let me share it with you. I wanna when I come on and say the things that we're not doing, if I run into folks who doing something, I like to share the work that they are doing. So if you're doing anything in your community, to do something, especially with children, but if you're doing some work to make a difference, hit me up. Let me share it. I would love to share it. Absolutely. Religious only requires you to believe in something, to worship in a deity or deities. That's all it do. It don't mean you're going to do nothing for nobody. You can get some shoes and put them in a corner and worship those shoes if that's your God. Because you got to remember, it says worshiping God or gods with a small g. See, don't forget about that. Whatever you want to worship, you can worship. You can take that cup, coach, just put that water and say that water your God and sit it on the table and bow down to it. That's facts. That's religion. You can bow down to whatever you want to bow down to. Don't mean you're gonna do anything to help anybody.
The way some people move.
Go ahead on.
Some
Go ahead
people
on, bro.
move, their action tells you what their priority or what they worship. I just was looking at some, scrolling through YouTube, and I saw a joke at the car show, and I saw the car, it's hooked up, clean, immaculate, all that. Then I saw him. I saw the car, and I saw him. I'm gonna just leave it like that. Like, bro, if you give yourself half that attention you get that car, come on. But I said, wow.
And
And
you see,
that's what hit my mind, like, wow, really, man? Wow. So, hey, man.
and we're so materialistic to
Wow.
literally, that's a lot of our gods, material things, stuff. That's really, if you want to tell the truth, just going, just for a lot of us, that's truly our God stuff. And that's why you can't trust a lot of us. We'll stab you in the back for that stuff. So we have to be very careful. I want to share this right here. We get ready to get out of here. John 4:23 said, God said that you have to worship in the spirit. That's what the Bible said, that you have to worship within the spirit. Then a lot of religions, they be so arrogant because they tell you that their way is the only way. How arrogant is that? Being spiritual, it says everyone and every person has a unique path to travel. You're spiritual. And one of the biggest differences between religion and spiritual is not so much about what you believe, but like you said, Coach, earlier, and I've said, it's how you live and your attitude towards your journey. And just because you are part of a religious group doesn't make you spiritual. And the psychological school argues that people gravitate toward religion because it provides a sense of comfort. Think about that. The psychological school, they argue, when you're going through something, Jesus will take care of it. Whew, I feel better now. They say that most people gravitate toward a religion because it gives them a sense of comfort. Because if you are not spiritually connected to hold yourself accountable, you will put the accountability on your religion. You expecting for your religion to take care of it instead of you getting your butt up, being spiritual, knowing that it's that within you. You got to do it. You'll put it on your religion. That's why we're not getting anything done, because we keep talking about Jesus gonna handle everything. I'm talking about the Christian now.
And that's why some people jump from church to church, because they ain't get what they want over this one. I'm gonna go over here because y'all ain't acting right over here. I can't get what I want, so you go over here. Yep. Yep.
Mm, mm. And
Yep.
when you're a religious coach, you're just connected to a belief. That's all. You're just saying, I believe. You ain't doing nothing.
Well, in reality, you really don't have to believe. You can just go.
Mm.
You can just go sign up, say you join Tide, and that's it. You really don't have to believe.
And so
You just
it's
show
like,
up.
and see, when you're saying that right there, a lot of things that's not happening and a lot of things that's going on, because a lot of us are just doing that. We're just showing up, we paying a couple of dollars, thinking everything is gonna be all right. And we're not doing no work, man. And it means nothing to bust that church open once or twice a week, bust that church open Saturday, Sunday, whenever you're doing it, and you're not living the principles that are within that book, man, it means nothing. So I'm showing right now one of the reasons we're not getting nothing done as a people, especially because we have a large religious group of people and they're not doing nothing. I'm just going to put it out there because they're not spiritual, they're religious. Because when you're spiritual, that means that you are connected to that which dwells within you, and your work will show that connection to that dwelling, man. So it's sad to say that a lot of us, we have it confused because when I'm having conversations, like I said, throughout the years, and people, I say, well, I don't want to do the religion. Well, I'm not the religious thing. Uh, Mine is more spiritual. They can hurt me, say, well, I come from more of a spiritual aspect, the way I look. Well, mine is too. I don't deal with the religion. But then once I ask, well, what work are you doing then if you're connected spiritually? Because if you're telling me that you're just sitting down, meditating, talking to your God, now if you're trying to get through some things yourself, because sometimes we definitely got to make sure that we take care of ourselves first. That's so we can go out and do some work. You understand? You got to get yourself together. You can't be out there trying to help somebody else if you're not together. So I definitely understand that. But a lot of times, I don't even see from a lot of the conversation that a lot of times that they're even working on themselves. So that's one of the reasons you can't help somebody else. And that's why I said in the last video, when it was talking about, show your neighbor love like you love yourself. A lot of us don't even love ourselves, coach. So we definitely can't love our neighbor. And a lot of us are not getting nothing done. And so I would definitely say that we definitely are confused with religion and spiritual. We're definitely confused. Because we got 4 minutes or so. You share whatever you want to share. I just want to get that out. And I hope that we go to work. I hope people heard what I said that you need to be doing, to begin to take care of yourself. And let's get to work. It's time to be doers. It's time to go to work. This is something new. That's why it's slow motion. It's something new. Believe me. No one is pushing. Everybody on YouTube trying to get rich. And like I say, they know how to get rich out of us because all you got to do is put entertainment, gossip, sports, mess, just put it out there. You want to get views and bring the people in, just put that mess out there. You got us. You got it, coach.
You talk about religion and you talk about people being comfortable. The actions speak louder than words. You can't grow and you can't grow and just be comfortable. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work. You gotta be uncomfortable. Be things you have to do. Issues you may have to face. You know what I mean? Circumstances, what have you. So if you feel comfortable where you are and you're trying to grow, you got to snap out of it. I've been in this world long enough to know that. You know, I know you probably rub some people the wrong way, but that's okay. You're grown. You can take what applies to you and what don't apply to you. You discard it. But like I always said, man, we talking about life, man. We talking about life. Anything we talk about here directly affects us or indirectly affects us. Our life, some way, shape, or form. Period. Whether we talk about mental, physical, spiritual, religion, spirituality, all of that affects us one way or another in this life, man. All we talking about is life. You know what I mean? And if you can't see that, then maybe it's not for you to see. You know. But I hope you get it when you need it. Because some point in time you're gonna need it. That's the way I see that, man, because my patience kind of wear thin, I'm being honest with folks and how they're moving. So I just okay, observe and keep it pushing, man. You know what I mean? But keep evolving, man. That's all I got for you. Keep evolving. That's all I can tell you, man. Check yourself, and keep evolving, you know.
There it is, coach. I'm gonna leave it right there. And from you saying, further as dealing, man, I only deal with people now with a certain mindset. That's where I'm at. If you're not in a certain place, then I can't deal with you. If you want help to get to that certain place, then let's go to work. But other than that, I can't deal with you if you don't have a certain mindset. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Family, make sure you subscribe, share this information. You know somebody need it. Hit that like, comment, support our organization for the youth. And until we come together again, coach, I appreciate it. And we out.
All right, take care, man. Peace
Take
out.
care, coach. Yes, sir.